Well, there's a story about a church service that was just beginning, beautiful church, and people are coming in and just quietly talking while they're sitting in their pews and waiting for the church service to begin, and very calm and peaceful. And when all of a sudden Satan appeared at the front of the church, and everybody screams and they're running out the door and just trampling over each other, trying to get away from evil incarnate. And pretty soon the church is entirely empty, except for one elderly gentleman up on the front pew. Didn't move, just sitting there calmly. After a while, Satan sees him. He slithers over there and he says, "Don't you know who I am?" "Yep," the old man says calmly. "Don't you know that I can kill you with just one word?" "Don't doubt it a bit," said the old man. "Don't you know that I can cause horrifying agony for you for all eternity?" "Yep," said the elderly gentleman again. "And still you're not afraid of me?" "Nope," said the old man. Well, by this time, Satan's getting kind of perturbed with the gentleman, and he shouts at him. He says, "Why aren't you afraid of me?" And the man calmly replies, "Because I've been married to your sister for 48 years. That ain't nothing. That's for you. Well, last week I shared with you some of my story, a little bit about my spiritual journey, and I shared with you that there was a period in my life, actually a 10-year period, in which I totally let go of religion and spirituality. Didn't want to have anything to do with it, didn't want to think about it, didn't want to talk about it. And there were many reasons for that. But the main reason was because I wanted to feel good about my life. I wanted to feel good about my life. I wanted to feel good about my relationships. I wanted to feel good about all people in the world. I wanted to feel good about life. I wanted to feel good about God. And some of the things I had been taught and told just weren't going along with that. Like the idea of Satan and God warring for my soul didn't make me feel good. Especially when I was being told that there were things about me that were less than pleasing to God. So I thought, forget it. Forget about it. You don't want me? I don't want you. So I just forgot about it for 10 years. But that still small voice kept whispering to me. That divine spark kept sparking. Because I know down at the deepest level of my being that I am a spiritual being connected to all of life. You know, we can ignore that whisper. We can abandon that knowledge or truth, but it never abandons us. So I came back around to it. And I said, but this time it's going to be simple. It's going to make sense. It's going to feel good. And all I could wrap my heart and brain, my heart and mind around was just one universal principle, divine truth. There's only one. And it is absolute good. And so that was the beginning of what I call building an authentic faith. You know, as humans, we are complex beings. We are so multifaceted, and we project that complexity out into our physical material world. Our minds are so powerful, and we can put together these procedures, and we can devise these systems, and this follows this, and this follows this, and there we've got it. Let me ask you, have you ever been wrong in your thinking about something or someone? I'm waiting for Gene to shake his head. Kathy says, I've been waiting for that for a long time. But we're very complex. Emotionally, we're very complex. We get so emotionally attached to stories and myths and fables, and we romanticize certain periods of history and certain stories, and we just know that's the way people were, and that's the way they looked, and that's the way it happened. It's such a beautiful thing. Let me ask you, have you ever been wrong in the way you were feeling about something or someone? Yes. But we're very complex and very multifaceted. Our personality is multifaceted. Our ego is highly convoluted, let alone our physical material selves that keep us going from here to there. We're moving there, got to have this, got to do this, I want this. And then within us, our negative self-talk and the limitations and the pressures and everything that we put on ourselves and on others and on the world, let alone the limitations that we receive, whether directly or indirectly, from others in society. If you just look at all that, we're just a jumbled mess. We're just a big ball of confusion. But underlying all of that is our essence. Underlying all that, the deepest level, is where we find God, life. The deepest level, the soul level. And that's where it's all about calm. Peace. Harmony. Wholeness. Unity. Love. Unconditional love and oneness. A cohesive, holistic, all-inclusive, one love, as Bob Marley would say. The eye in the center of the storm, the eye of the storm, the calm in the storm. And connecting with that cosmic calm, that's what I call my spirituality. Connecting with that infinite presence, that's what I value. And solitude helps us to establish that connection and reestablish that connection. And meeting together helps us to establish that connection. Solitude is important and essential for our personal and our spiritual integration and growth. But we're communal creatures. Left to our own devices, we have an endless capacity for self-absorption and self-deception. That's why we need genuine, trustworthy relationships. We need a patient, persistent community that loves us and encourages us and supports us. That way we can bring those fragments of ourselves together. We can heal our brokenness. And we can embrace our wholeness. We can celebrate our wholeness. And then we can take what's sacred within us and express it out into the world. In our separateness, that's when we really chew on our problems. That's when we really recycle the dilemmas and replay the dramas. But in community, that's where we are embraced by those who welcome our souls. When we're in community, we can hear that and we can feel and sense that reverberation of that still small voice in each one of us. And in the faces of those who love and support us, we can see reflections of the divine. And then we remember the deepest truths about ourselves. So, yes, we need our alone time, but we need our together time. Our inner work requires solitude and community. So our charge is to create private space and time, and communal space and time for ourselves to nurture our souls. Back in the 14th century, sanctuaries were sacred spaces, places that were buildings that were set apart for worship. But according to medieval church law, there were certain sanctuaries that were designated as places where fugitives and debtors could enjoy immunity from punishment or arrest. A sanctuary was a place of protection, a place where you could be comforted, a place where you could rest and take refuge, a place where you could be at peace. So we come into this sanctuary and we put aside the pressures of the world that asks us to perform, to put on masks or to put on false fronts. We come into this sanctuary and we find a community of compassion and welcoming. We find a place where we're free to express ourselves, free to be ourselves, free to close our eyes if we want to, free to take a few deep cleansing breaths, maybe for the first time all week. We come here to commune with our essence, but we also come here to connect, because here is where we acknowledge and remember that there's only one divine reality, and it's in us, but it's in all people. You know, there's an ancient yogic greeting called Namaste. It's a simple gesture. It's made by bringing both palms of the hands together in front of the heart with a gentle bow to the person to whom you're presenting Namaste. It's a basic greeting, but on a deeper level, it comes from the Sanskrit word nama, actually two words. Na means negation, ma means ego or self or personality. So nama means not mine. So the gesture of namaste, you put aside the personality and the ego and the self, and you bring together the divinity. And by presenting namaste to someone, you acknowledge that supreme soul that's within them, and as you do that, you realize those same characteristics are within you. So namaste is a physical gesture that silently says, I honor the God in you. I honor that place in you that is peace and love and light and truth. And when you're in that place in you, and I'm in that place in me, we are one. So as we come into this sanctuary, we put aside the polarization of the world that seeks to divide and to label and to separate, to draw boundaries. We come into this sanctuary and we find a community of love and acceptance. We bring all that we are into this present moment, and we connect with our essence and with each other. And we evolve together. We grow together. We participate in transformation together. So I hope this morning I've convinced you of the importance of solitude in your spiritual life. And I hope I've convinced you of the importance of community in your spiritual life. And I hope that I've convinced you of the importance of this spiritual center. It's important to our town. It's important to our world. It's essential to my spiritual growth. And I know it is for many people. And I hope you find it to be essential to your spiritual growth as well. So on this 6th anniversary of Unity Center of the Desert, I want to congratulate you, and I want to celebrate with you, and I want to challenge you. I want to challenge you to spend time in solitude, to create private space and private time to nurture your soul. And I want to challenge you to spend time in community, to create and connect with a communal space that nurtures and welcomes your soul. Notice I didn't say spend time doing for this community. We're all doing a lot. I said spend time in community, being community. You know, statistics say that people come to church for the music? No. For the wonderful speaker? No. For the delicious food we're going to have afterwards? No. Statistics say that people come to church because they were invited. And I know that many of you can attest to that. So I want to encourage you to invite your family and friends. But more than that, I want to encourage you to be an agent of transformation. To be an agent of transformation in your life by spending time in solitude and community. But to be an agent of transformation in your friend's life and your loved one's life and those people that you come in contact with in the world. As you nurture your soul through community and through solitude, you grow in your spiritual life. And that growth becomes contagious. People see your light and they want some of that. So growth begins with you. And as you grow, I grow. We all grow. And as we all grow, this spiritual center grows. May it be so. And so it is. So we're going to go into a meditation time. I always like to put both feet on the floor. If you feel comfortable,